Welcome to the preseason Game 2 edition of Between the Lines presented by Continental Diamond. My name is Gabe Henderson. I'm alongside Ben Leber. And Ben, I don't know if it is because of the rain or because you wanted to go out there and tackle. Your shirt is probably wetter than what many fans think right now, which pretty much explains today's game.
Well, listen, Gabe, it's equal parts sweat and rainwater. You guys, it was muggy out there.
Yeah.
The first three quarters, even the pregame, when I had to do a couple of pregame hits, I was just drenched. I felt like I was in a sauna. Yeah. So then I actually kind of welcomed a little bit of that rain because it kind of felt good, a little refreshing. But thankfully, the rain held off just in time for the game to get over, and we pulled out the victory without having it stopped.
Yeah, 27-12 was the final score in today's game. And Ben, we know in these preseason games, no one really keeps the score. You look at the evaluation, and you go from there. The first person that I think of when you turn the film on and you start evaluating, this is a guy that's going to stand out, a guy that you talked to in the locker room today, Mr. Cine.
Yeah.
10 tackles, a sack, and an interception. How would you describe his play today?
Committed. You know, it's probably the first time I've seen him for an extended number of plays be that committed to playing the game the way that we all expect him to play. He's a physical football player.
Yep.
And what doesn't show up in the stat book was he had a big hit and a passing down on a pass play. And that, to me, you know, as a former defensive player, I know it doesn't show up in the stat book, but the juice and the energy that your defense and your team gets from something like that is as impactful as a takeaway. Yeah. And I just thought that he was all over the football field. He looked, body language-wise, he looked comfortable. He looked like he was, you know, thinking a step ahead as opposed to being reactive all the time. Yep. And so, again, if this is kind of his coming out party, I'm so glad it happened because he needed a game like this.
What does this mean for this defense when you have a first rounder who was drafted a couple of years ago, goes out, breaks his leg in week number 4, I believe, against the New Orleans Saints over in London, and now he's having a resurgence. When you have a guy like Lewis that everyone has been behind, everyone is saying when he gets back to full speed, he's going to be a game changer. What does that mean for this defense having him back?
Well, I mean, it definitely gives you another weapon.
Got you.
But we're pretty deep at safety right now.
Yep.
So, you know, what does that mean for him? Well, hopefully it buys him another year with this team. And, you know, we know that Harrison Smith may not be here, you know, another year, 2 years. And so I think that was the idea of drafting him in the first place, was that, you know, he would just kind of take over when Harrison was ready to walk away. And so that looks like a little bit more of like on plan. You know, maybe it's not the way that we all expected it, but it's a tough competition there at that safety spot. We got a lot of good players that can play a lot of different roles within this Brian Flores defense. So, you know, what that means for this defense, it's another weapon, and for him personally, maybe another year on this team.
Anyone not named Cine on this defense that stood out to you?
You know, I think our defensive line just in general, you know, going even back to last week, Jonathan Bullard, you know, played really, really physical. We came in today and kind of beat the Browns at what they're known for. Yeah. The Browns are known to be a physical team. They like to run the football. They like to stop the run. They pride themselves on their line play. And offensively, I thought that we beat them up. Yeah. Defensively, we stopped their run. Yeah. And I thought our guys up front are playing physical. Yeah. You know, we can't get into those passing situations, as you know, Gabe, unless you stop the run first. Right. And so that's where it starts. We've done a great job these last couple of weeks. So, you know, kudos to everybody up there up front.
You talk about that physicality. That was something that we saw Wednesday and Thursday this week in joint practices against the Cleveland Browns. And you were hoping that the defense continued to show what they showed early in the week in today's game, in which they did. But offensively, those were the biggest question marks that a lot of people had. Of course, earlier this week it was announced that J.J. McCarthy, his rookie season is over due to a torn meniscus. So everyone is asking, who's next? Nick Mullins got the start today. Jaron Hall was after him. And then we saw a newly acquired Matt Corral get a couple of snaps to end the game. What were your thoughts on the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback in particular?
Well, Mullins, to me, completely cemented the fact that he's going to be the backup quarterback. Okay. And, you know, I think we kind of knew that when he didn't get any snaps last week. They were just like, okay, we know what we're going to get out of you. We're comfortable with you. We don't really need to further evaluate you. And I think he comes out and he takes care of the football. That's first and foremost. That's been a little bit of his Achilles heel. Yep. You know, I think we all appreciate the way that Nick plays. He's aggressive. He can get the ball down the field. He wants to take big chunks out of the defense. Sometimes he gets a little too risky, and he gambles a little bit with throwing the football. So I thought he looked poised. He played within the offense, and he didn't take unnecessary risks. You know, he took a few unnecessary hits, You know, he's just trying to go out there and make a play. Play breaks down. He scrambles out outside the pocket, maybe holds onto the ball a little bit too long, just trying to make a play.
You only get 5 or 6. There's only 5 or 6 plays on the play sheet, so you got to make the most of every one.
I know, I get it, but like, you know, like we need him to stay healthy. So, but I still appreciate, you know, that kind of dog mentality that he has.
How about Jaren Hall? 4 or 5 today, 87 yards, I believe 2 touchdowns. What did you make of his performance out there?
You know, I got to be honest, man. I still want to see more.
Okay.
You know, that 71-yarder, that's great. That's going to look good in the stats.
Right.
Just a quick little bootleg rollout. You know, it was nicely placed. I like the way he layered that ball right over the defender, but it really was the receiver that did all the work.
Right.
And I just want to see him, you know, speaking about Mullins, I want to see him be a little bit more like that. I want to see him get the ball down the field, throw into some tight coverage, you know, throw a guy open, you know, 25, 30 yards down the field, because this is a big play offense. And I think that if he ever had to come in and run this offense, unfortunately, I think you have to change your play calling to suit what he can do.
Gotcha. Well, look, there's only one more preseason game left next Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Time at the Philadelphia Eagles. We know a bunch of the starters aren't going to play. A lot of people know that Kevin O'Connell may not be calling plays. He's going to give other guys opportunities to do so, similar to this game. Wes Phillips called plays for the offense. I believe Durante Jones called plays for the defense, and then Mike, the linebackers coach, called plays in the second half for this defense. What do you want to see in game number 3, preseason game number 3, with the guys that are going to play, given that the coaches are going to be, you know, figuring out things on the go, calling the plays? Well,
I mean, it's tough to really like nitpick at some maybe individual play, because we know that that's not really the guys that we're going to see in week 1. But I want to continue to see our lines play physical. You know, we know that this offense is going to be explosive. We know that Darnold's going to get the ball down the field. We know that we're going to have Justin Jefferson and Addison and all this other stuff. But we have to control the line of scrimmage. So I want to see us continue to do that as a team, control the line of scrimmage, because then that gives me a lot more faith that our ones can do that when the regular season starts. The other thing from an offensive standpoint, we got to do a better job picking up a lot of those twists. You know, there wasn't a lot of exotic blitzes coming. There wasn't a lot of like crazy things that we've never seen before. A lot of the twists and stunts that we couldn't pick up today, look, that's just kind of a base package on defense.
Gotcha.
So we have to do a better job offensive line-wise, just communicating, moving our feet, understanding how they can attack the quarterback. Once we do that and we shore up that offensive line pass pro and we continue to run the ball, this is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait until that next preseason game next Saturday, 12 p.m. kickoff in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But for Ben Leber, Alex Miller, my name is Gabe Henderson. This was the winning edition of Between the Lines, presented by Continental Diamond.